mistakes that I made for the vast majority of my early business career was, and so when I started out in my career, I thought that I just had to partner with everyone. And that wasn't the right call for me at the time because I ended up partnering with people. The reality is that I should have been partnering with people if I was going to partner, but I should have partnered with somebody who was really good at delivery, service, product, etc., and had somebody who really owned the operational, portion of the business. And so that's what I should have thought of. Now, mind you, I had a mentor early on in that time of my life who said, listen, you might need an accountant. It doesn't mean that you have to give them equity in your company. That was, again, something that I did not understand when I was earlier on. And so just if you're starting out your career, you don't need to give away equity in your company to get things done. And in the companies that I have grown to, 8 figures, multiple figures, and now knocking on 9, have come from companies that I own, right? And have very small percentage of equity that I allocate to people who are star performers, which leads me to one of the things that he talked about that I referenced earlier, which is understanding the difference between superstars and stars. And so he said something that really stuck with me. And after this, I'll tell you what he said about how he allocates his money and whatnot, because I think that was really cool. But how he identifies superstars. He said, listen, we all want superstars, right? And we know them when we see them. But what I have noticed is that I've never not thought someone was a superstar and then later realized they were. He said, now I've had people who came in and I thought they were superstars and then it turned out they weren't superstars, but I've never had the reverse happen, where someone comes in, I don't think they're a star or a superstar, and then they become one. Or someone comes in, I don't think they're a star or a superstar, and then they become one. And so I took that as a key learning for myself, which is once we're bringing in high-level talent, we're bringing in leaders, we're bringing in drivers, that if we don't immediately think that they're a superstar, then it means that they're probably not a fit for that role. And I think later now, hired true superstars, the difference is uncanny. It's night and day. That they're able to solve problems, bring solutions to the table, and implement them without your input. Oftentimes, what you have to end up doing, which is why the gap between 30 to 100 million is about giving up the next level of control, which is kind of the control around high-level decisions. Right? You have to give people the autonomy and the power, because a superstar wants that kind of power, right? They want that kind of authority. They want that responsibility, and they want the responsibility because they want the credit for the outcome, right? And so this was something that took me a long time to understand. And the way that he incentivized those people that he shared with me, and I will share with you right now so you guys don't have to get $1 billion a year. Finding good people is hard. It's the number one issue all businesses have. It's like, because if fundamentally every single person who's listening to this right now is 3 amazing hires away from all the growth you've ever wanted. Like, think about that. Like, we're all 3 hires away from all the growth we ever wanted and our time back. And I feel like I'm just beginning to really experience this as an entrepreneur. And I'll tell you, it's trippy. It's weird not being needed. And I would encourage it. And I think that there were multiple times throughout my career where I thought that I was not needed and I stepped away and then things crashed. And then I had to jump back in. And so maybe you've had that experience too. But when that happens, sure, there's process issues, etc. But most times it's because there's a lack of talent. And I'll share one conclusion that I made from this thing, and then I'll tell you what his investment advice was. But one of the conclusions that I have is that the size of the corporation is directly proportional to the amount of superstars that are present. And so when you think, I'm like superstars, I'm not talking stars. Stars are great. You need A players, right? But who are the people who have that X factor, that it factor, that something different that can really drive, right? And as a company gets bigger, he even shared this too. He said, you need fewer drivers and you need superstar tenders. You need people who are not hunters, but farmers who can just tend to the company overall and make the incremental improvements, because a lot of times companies grow in a stepwise fashion. So it's huge growth, plateau, huge growth, plateau, huge growth, plateau. And then we as entrepreneurs think we're, breaking something, when in reality that just oftentimes is how growth occurs, because there are bottlenecks, there are constraints that are on the business, and then you de-bottleneck them and then you experience the next level of growth. And usually you de-bottleneck them with a person who has experience or who has talent in that specific area who can solve the problem for you and has done it before. As promised, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap this puppy up.
We need to live our life with the expectancy. Today is a new day. It's a new day for North America. It's a new day for Europe. It's a new day for Africa. It's a new day for Asia. It's a new day for Latin America. It's a new day for Oceania.